And this morning we learned that manufacturing production posted a strong gain. So far, the Recovery Act is responsible for the jobs of about 2 million Americans who would otherwise be unemployed.
Karl Rove is our guest. He is a former senior advisor to President George W. Bush, also a Fox News contributor. Karl, let's start with the big picture here. Both sides are using this anniversary to try to frame this stimulus in the way they see it, right? I mean, the president and his team want people to see jobs that have been created, crisis averted, economy on the mend. His political opponents, primarily the Republicans, are trying to say, look, you've got huge deficits, unspent stimulus funds, and a stimulus that they say hasn't worked.
Yeah, I think you framed it exactly right. Look, I'm a little confused. We just heard the president say that 2 million jobs had been created or saved, and yet if you go to the White House website, recovery.org, and take a look at it, it says 595,263 jobs have been created or saved. So the president's got a little bit of confusion going on with his own set of numbers. This, in many ways, is a false debate. The economy is stabilized compared to where it was a year ago, but is it because the government has spent $200 billion in the stimulus program? I don't think so. If you take a look worldwide, the Federal Reserve and the central banks have injected $30 trillion into the world economy. The Federal Reserve injected $1.4 trillion by simply expanding its balance sheet, going out and giving people money. Using other tools at its disposal, it's injected trillions of dollars into the American economy. Many times the $200 billion that's been spent primarily to go to the unemployed, to go to state and local government workers, to go to state budgets so they can pay it out to their state contractors and vendors. I mean, the amount of money the federal government has injected into a $14 trillion economy, the U.S. economy, is small by comparison to what the Federal Reserve has done using monetary policy.
Well, and the president said that we had to, get this thing going quickly. He talked a lot about shovel-ready projects a year ago so you could get people back to work. Only a third of the stimulus money has been spent so far, right?
Right, that's correct. And remember, 5% of the total amount of money is devoted to infrastructure, to these shovel-ready projects. Remember, this bill will spend more money between 2011 and 2019 than it spent last year when we were trying to stimulate the economy. That's not very stimulative. There's $4 billion in there for smoking cessation and obesity counseling. I don't know too many out-of-work smoking counselors. I mean, this bill was badly designed, poorly executed. They promised us 3.5 million jobs. They promised us it would be spent right away. They left the impression it was all going to infrastructure, and none of those things have happened. Now, again, the economy is going to recover. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But when that moment comes, we can look back and see the Federal Reserve having done a much bigger job in stimulating the economy and having to unwind those those activities without building inflation, which is going to be a difficult task. But let's not kid ourselves. There's a reason why the CBS New York Times poll said that 6% of Americans think the stimulus bill has created jobs. It's because it hasn't. 90% of the jobs were supposed to be in the private sector. They, by and large, the jobs they've saved, even the government admits it, are teachers, local government employees, state government employees, and government vendors.
Yeah. So far, the public payroll has swelled the most under the stimulus bill.
Exactly.
Karl Rove. Karl, thanks.